Hello, everybody. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor Winners at War. This is the last show we will be doing about Survivor for God knows how long. With me, as always, Tyler and Beth. And I don't know if you recognize the guy below me, but it's Tommy Bracco from Big Brother 21. Tommy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you inviting me on. This is so fun to I just love this whole world of people that love reality shows as much as I do. And then I just admire the fact that you guys put up this show and just want to talk about it and that people want to listen because there is a community for it. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on our show. How big of a fan and how immersed in the community were you before your experience with Big Brother 21?
Well, Big Brother is my show. It's Big Brother all the way. To be honest with you, this is the first live season of Survivor that I've watched.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
So what happened was I was up for Big Brother a few years ago, Over the Top.
Oh.
And
that's Allison's favorite season.
Really?
I'm
Yeah.
the only person
I
that
didn't
watches
watch it.
OT in our group.
She loves it.
I really do want to watch it because I never watched it actually, just because I was a little sad that I didn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
But
course,
I
yeah.
didn't watch it, and I really want to actually. Now that so much time has passed, and now that I got to do the show, not my feelings aren't hurt. No, whatever. But I do want to watch it, so I'm gonna go back and do that at some point, I think. But
Yeah.
But so I was up for Big Brother Over the Top. It didn't work out. So then casting reached out to me about potentially being pitched for Survivor. And I didn't know anything about Survivor at all. I watched one season. And I can't remember the guy's name. He didn't win, but he was super good looking, long hair, and brown. Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh, yeah, Joe.
Sorry,
Joey amazing.
3 descriptors. I got your Survivor person. No
Yeah.
worries.
Ladies know who Joe is.
So what season was that?
He was on 3 seasons, but you probably watched his original season, Worlds Apart, season 30.
Yeah.
It was
That
red collar, blue collar, white collar.
Yes, I think that was it.
Yeah.
I feel like it was his first season because I think I would have remembered if they were talking about how he was being brought back.
Yeah.
And they weren't talking about that.
Yeah.
Season. So I think it was his first one. Yeah.
Timeline-wise, if it was around OTT time, I think it would have been Worlds Apart.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I watched that season, and then that was it. Then just this one, and this season, it was so interesting to everybody. A lot of people that are Survivor fans, all Survivor fans, have pre-existing ideas of who these people are.
Yep.
And I don't. So it was really interesting to watch the season and see what people were saying about it versus my point of view, which is somebody who I don't know who Parvati is. I don't know that she has this reputation for being a badass and stuff. So I'm like, she's fine. She's great. She's killing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But people love her and die for her. And you just didn't see that as much in this season.
Yeah.
Well, it was just really interesting to watch this season and meet these people for the first time all at once.
Yeah. Well, overall, what was your impression on the season? Did you like what you saw? How did this compare to Worlds Apart, which honestly people say is one of the worst seasons of Survivor? So it's probably pretty night and day difference for you.
Yeah, I think Joe played a really sick game last
Yeah.
night. I kind of wished he was in this season because I loved watching him play when I first played.
Yeah.
And I just missed him in this cast. That's it.
Yeah.
He and that's the winner of that season didn't even play in this, which was Mike Holloway. Didn't play in Winners at War. So it would have been interesting having not known really anybody unless I don't know if you'd met any of the winners at an event or anything like that, for reality show beforehand.
But yeah.
Very cool. Who did you know ahead of time then? Who were some of the people that you kind of
I met Adam.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
Everybody's met Adam.
I love Adam.
Wendell's awesome too.
Oh, Wendell, yeah.
Love Wendell.
We've only heard that he's just so nice and down to earth and everything at these kind of events and such. So he seems like someone that you definitely want to meet.
Yeah. To be honest with you, when I got off the show, everything was such a whirlwind that I can't even I can't even remember. But I know that I met those two. I know we hung out a little bit, but Yeah, I wish I got to spend more time with them.
Let me ask you a question, Tommy. After
Allison,
watching,
yes.
yeah, I'm going to say something. No, I have a question. Wendell, we've kind of gone back and forth about this during the season. Do you think he got he was a very different Wendell from the past season that we saw? Do you think him being such a great guy, he got maybe a bad edit this season? Or do you think it was just game? Or has that thought even crossed your mind at all?
Why
Or
do you
anything?
think that he looked bad?
I thought he looked pretty bad, especially with like
Yeah.
the Michelle stuff.
Yeah.
Like how he was like kind of talking to her. I think it like that situation just like really fucked with this game.
So awkward. It was
I
so
honestly didn't get that impression, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think that he is a really good guy, and I
Mhm.
also know that everyone that meets him and hangs out with him has nothing but great to say
Yeah.
about him. Like, it's one thing like when you meet somebody that it's a nice interaction, but it doesn't go any further than that. People who meet Wendell go out of their way to talk about how much they love him.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he's a good guy. Despite the fact that I haven't spent that much time with him, I know that he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
I have friends that are very close to him.
Well, I love him.
Love him.
I love him
So,
to death.
I
And
would
just
say he
a
probably
side note, not to
I think
But I'll
Allison's
tell you
internet's lagging
a
a
little
little
side
bit.
note here. I got to brag for
Oh, is she
the lag.
frozen?
Yeah,
Am I
she's
frozen?
you're freezing and kind of lagging a little bit here. But we all know that
Am I
it's
here?
Allison, why don't you hop off and come back in?
let's see if
Oh
that
my
helps.
God.
I think she's behind.
What
I
the
actually
fuck?
All right. Anyway, while Allison comes back in, I wanted to ask you, Tommy, what did you think about the Edge of Extinction twist? Because I know on Big Brother, like it's pretty standard for people to come back into the game now, but for Survivor, this is a very new territory that we've really explored this season. What did you think about it overall?
Okay, so the way I really feel about it is that it goes on for too long.
Yeah.
So there are loopholes. Hi, Allison, you're back.
How are you? Hi, Tommy.
Yay! So Tyler just asked me about the Edge of Extinction, what my thoughts were.
Okay.
So, okay, here's my opinion. I think that it shouldn't go from, all right, with Big Brother, they do it like the first 4 house guests, and then they play right then and there.
Yeah.
Or the first 4 in jury, and then they play to get back in. I think that that's your cutoff is 4 people. But when you have it go from throughout an entire season, Natalie wasn't on the island the same way that they were.
Mhm.
So, like, okay, so if I am Adam, I get evicted or removed from the island, whatever, evicted from the island way later than Natalie did. Natalie has a way longer amount of time to thrive and on the Edge of Extinction. So it's just like a timing loophole.
It's almost like a big advantage to be the first boot because you're so familiar with the island, so familiar with the competitions, the advantages that you get, the more opportunity to get fire tokens, which is very influential in the game.
Yeah, so I think if I had to say, I would say that I wish that the Edge of Extinction wasn't as long of a period of time.
Mhm.
I don't mind that it exists. I think that that's really cool. And to be like honest, I loved Natalie's game. Like I was a huge fan of Natalie.
Yeah.
And it was like Tony and Natalie. Like I wish they weren't in the same season because I really wanted both of them to win so bad. Love Michelle. Love her so much. I didn't think that she played as good of a game as the other two, but Natalie and Tony, I wanted them both to be winners, and I didn't know.
You know what I'm thinking about here, Tony? Okay, or Tommy, about Tommy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Tony, Michelle, and Natalie, all 3 of them are from New Jersey. You're like not that far from them. The final 3 were all New Jersey people. I just realized this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, New Jersey, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Long Island, we have the same DNA.
That's right.
It's really the same thing. We're cousins.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, there's got to be something in the the Hudson River, I guess.
We got it going on. Us East Coasters, we're fighters, baby.
Yeah. Tommy, what is it about Natalie's game that like really like struck a chord with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to be fair, I don't know if it's necessarily her game as much as it is her.
Yeah.
Like, I am a big fan of her.
Yeah.
The way that she fights, the way that she communicates or doesn't communicate sometimes, like everything about her, I was just a major fan of. I loved how much of a fighter that she was.
Yeah.
She won everything. She won everything. She played a completely different game than Tony, but it was so good still. She made a few mistakes once she got back on the island, just a few, that made me think that I was personally rooting for Tony to win, but it was right. It was neck and neck. Like, I wish that she would have, choosing Sarah and him to go against the fire, to make fire, I didn't think was the best decision.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't necessarily think, I think that it probably, I don't know. I don't know what it should have been, but I don't think that was the right decision necessarily.
Yeah. So Tommy, you need to go back and watch Natalie's first season if you like Natalie in this one, because she was strategic, a firecracker, sought vengeance, talked people down, like she was excellent. She was.
And who did she play with?
John Rocker.
John Rocker, the
called him a huge homophobe. It was wonderful. She really was like the only one to like put him in his place and really stand up to him. I think Parvati, like, she said it best in the final tribal council. She was like, Natalie says what's on her mind. Doesn't matter, like, if it makes an uncomfortable position. Like, she is just such a badass, and she sticks to how she feels and her vindications. And that's why we love her. Like, she is just such a badass, such a beast too. Like, she's such a strong competitor.
It was just hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, she is.
So
yeah, John, it's so funny to me because it's like, what? No, I'm just saying, like, why do all these Southern guys have to be so homophobic and crazy, you know what I'm talking about? And they get on these shows, I'm like, guys, stop it. Stop.
Who was homophobic?
John Rocker. He was like a really famous baseball player.
He was a baseball player that had some articles written when he was a player in the league where he had said some like racist and homophobic things. And he's never really apologized. He kind of was just like, that's how I feel, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I think after he retired, I think he kind of came around and started to kind of apologize, but that's always been his legacy, is like, he was this baseball player that was good, but like, he was also like outwardly kind of hateful. So he got cast, it was a blood versus water season. So he got cast with his girlfriend on the show. And like, he would even say things like, there was a part where she beats him in a challenge. It's just the two of them competing against each other. And he goes, I just got beat by a girl, like my girlfriend. And he goes, actually remove the friend part. I just got beat by a girl, and was like, super like he had like those kind of moments that you were just like, oh, come on, dude. But Natalie like put him in his place and called him out and such, and it was quite awesome.
It was, and her win was so great because like it was that blood versus water season, and her twinnie was the first one voted out. So she was on like a revenge trip, like on her own, the entire rest of the season.
She was also on a revenge trip for Jeremy. That was Jeremy's first season. He got voted out, and she got angry about that, and so they were like basically become like family since that season. And she went on a revenge trip both for her twin and for Jeremy about halfway through the season. So it's a really, really good season for you to watch to get her.
I do love Jeremy too. I thought he was great.
Yeah. I love Jeremy. He's one of my favorite players ever as well.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So Tommy, tell us, what did you like about Tony's game? So you mentioned a little bit about what you liked about Natalie. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Tony's game.
All right, so I think that Tony just like it's really hard to play with editing. After having been on a show, like a CBS show, I try and remove myself from as an audience member and try and put myself in the house guest, or in this, I guess, like people on the island position. How do they not see how good Tony is? How do they not want to get rid of him? How does that happen? He really does a good job at playing dumb.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
part of his strategy. Like, he's always confused, and he just wins people over with his charm, and that made his social game so good. I wish that he would have owned up to that more in the final speeches. That's what, like, I really don't know who I would have voted for in that moment if I was people on the island, because I thought that Natalie spoke great, and Tony doesn't own up to all of his things. I feel like he's just like, no, I was innocent, and it's like, oh, you weren't, and that's okay.
That was my biggest complaint about his final Trial War performance, is he was the only one out of the three of them that didn't really answer any of the questions that they gave him. Like, he just kind of used it as an opportunity to make it like a funny like spectacle about his like spy nest and everything. What did you think about his spy nest?
I have a opinion.
Go ahead.
I'm hesitant to like even have this opinion because, again, I was not on the island. I don't know what actually happened, and I wish that you had like live feeds or something with this show that we really knew what was going on. But like,
yeah, no kidding.
What was Sarah thinking? What was Sarah thinking? Like, towards the end of the game, she would feed Tony this information, and then he would get the credit for it. And then she makes this speech about women empowerment and how she deserves to be there, and that she's right up there with him. But her actions didn't prove to be like with her words. Like, it just didn't. They didn't match up, is the way I see it, at least.
No, I completely agree with you, because I do believe that what she brought up was an absolute issue in Survivor. I think we see it a lot in Big Brother as well, this gender bias. But the way that she was applying it to her own game, I think that she was just blinded by the idea, well, we're a partnership. Of course, like, they're not seeing me have to run Tony. And I was like, if you watch Tony's first season, which she was also on, like, his close alliance, that's what she did, and she didn't get the credit for that either. So those are things that, like, I don't know. I think that you might be able to understand like the mental fatigue. I mean, your game is much longer than Survivor is, but granted, you're like in a house and like have things kind of taken care of for you. I'm interested to know, like, do you believe the mental fatigue at the end of Big Brother might be similar to how people might be mentally fatigued in a game of Survivor towards the end?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do, because the mental fatigue, I'm so glad you brought that up. I've actually never had a conversation about the mental fatigue that comes with playing one of these games, but it's very real. Like, it's the reason why when you look back on a season after you play, you're like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. But you truly can't see it because you're exhausted.
Yeah.
It's 24/7 of being on. And it takes a lot out of you. You can't do it anymore. You lose it. So I do think that that's a part of it. However, if you have the strength to make a speech like Sarah did, then you have the strength to say, no, I'm literally handing this man the win. I just didn't see it as them being equal partners. It could have been because of the editing. It could have been.
Sure.
But it looked from my point of, like, from the audience's point of view, that he was calling all the shots.
Well, I listened to Sarah's exit interview with Rob Has a Podcast right before coming on the show here. And Sarah does admit that she was most likely playing second place to Tony. Like, if she does get to the end, she was like, I know that he played a better game, and I'm not going to say otherwise. Like, he won immunities. He found idols. Like, he had a lot like better of like a strategic game than I did. I was just hoping that my social bonds with people would really carry me a lot further than what ended up actually happening.
No, it's all stars. It's winners. People are playing to vote for the best gamer.
Yeah.
It was frustrating to watch because, like, I wish she would have joined forces. Granted, it really wouldn't have mattered that much with the girls. Like, I want to see like a big move like that or something. I want to see you really make a decision for your own game.
We
What
were
I
so
wanted-
close to an all-female final 3 this season for the first
Oh,
time since
so
Natalie's win, which was
Yeah.
11 seasons ago, Tommy. That's the last time we've gotten it is an all-female final 3.
Yeah, that would have been
I
nice.
wanted to happen was in the final 6 when it ended up being a tie between Sarah and Denise. I wanted Sarah to wake up and then convince Tony that they were voting for her to get his idol played on her versus himself, and then use that opportunity to, if there was a tie or whatever, try to get Tony to be the person that goes out.
Wow.
Together with Denise, with Michelle and Natalie, and do all female strong, because they knew Ben would play his idol on him. So, and Tony would more likely play his idol on himself at that point. But if anybody could get him to not play his idol on himself, it would have been Sarah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I really wish that could have happened, because I really think if you got Tony out, that was the tie group help for the wall.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, crazy.
Wow.
So why don't we kind of go into, Allison, looks like you were about to say something. I'm sorry. Were you gonna
No, because is my internet okay?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to speak or anything. We'll let you know if it's if it's being laggy.
No, because what I was saying 20 minutes ago before I fell off the face of the earth. No, Tommy, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I've picked the winner of Survivor. I got to brag. Go ahead, put your poop hat on.
Here we
Tyler.
go. No. That was the last show.
Poop hat.
Yeah. So go ahead, Allison. Go ahead.
Every time I pick the winner now, I had sent through Amazon Tyler a poop hat that he has to wear. If the person I picked Wendell, I picked. I don't know what it is, but I've been able to, like, when we do the and everything, like I just picked they're in my top.
Pick Jackson as well for BB21.
I picked Jackson. Yeah,
You did. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I did.
Tommy, you were actually my winner pick for Big Brother 21.
oh, Tyler, thank you. I was close.
You were so close.
Close.
You were pretty high on my list too, but you were my winner pick for the Sequester mini.
No, but then you changed your mind.
I changed my mind a little bit, but then when it started going live and I was modding, I was like, no, I think it's Tommy again.
You were right. Actually, when you changed your mind, you were like, I think he'll probably get 5th place again. That's what I got. It was literally perfect.
Listen, I've also gotten 5th place in a mini, so I know the feels. I know I can feel that energy.
Hey, it's all good. It's totally fine. It was so much fun.
Excellent. So why don't we kind of talk about generally, what were some of our favorite moments from the show? Maybe each of us can kind of go around and say either a favorite character moment that had nothing to do with gameplay, or a favorite gameplay moment in the game. I think this was just a really fun milestone season to have, and yeah, let's celebrate it with
Listen, my all-time favorite. Well, I just love Tony because I picked him. I've loved him since I just love him. I love his first thing. I'm just crazy about anytime Tony is running, hiding, digging himself like a cat burying a turd and a cat. Anytime he is doing anything,
a bird sitting on him.
A bird shat on him in the middle of an episode. I'm like, I love this. This is just amazing. I can't. But just that's just me. But I did love watching Natalie on Edge of Extinction. I'm kind of like with you, Tommy. She was there first, but she was also playing really hard the whole time too, getting all the tokens. She really, for me, the first time legitimately from Edge of Extinction, earned her way back and did such an amazing job. And I was so excited when she made it. So that was really my favorite all-time moment, would be Natalie coming back outside. Tony, I still love you. You're probably not watching, but but still her coming back was my favorite, because it hit hard. I was like, man, she deserves this. This is insane.
She did.
But that's just,
oh my God. And then when she started just peeling away at that alliance one by one, it was so thrilling. When she found that idol, I freaking lost my shit. Can I say
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can swear.
Okay, yeah.
you can say whatever you want here.
Wow, yeah. It was amazing. I love her so much.
Absolutely.
But I also love Denise. That was my favorite moment, was when she made that move to get out the queen. It was so good.
Oh,
My favorite gameplay.
I was like, from that moment on, I was like, I want Denise to win.
Tommy, I think
Love
that's going to
her.
go down in history as like one
Love
of the
her.
best like blindside idol play tribal councils in Survivor history.
Oh my God.
It was such a badass move.
Okay.
And Sandra, like, she's never been blindsided before, right? Like, she's won the game twice, and then when she was eliminated in Survivor Game Changers, like, she knew it was coming. Like, she knew that, like my time is up, right? Sandra had no idea she was going here. She trusted Denise with the idol. She gave it to her, and then she goes around and blindsides her. And Sandra takes it so personally. I feel like she's, like, totally embarrassed, and that's why she ends up like raising the flag and leaving Edge of Extinction. I think that she can't, like, especially with Rob sitting there being like, you shouldn't have given her the idol, what are you thinking? I just that's my personal opinion. I don't think that she knew how to take that. That's never happened to her before.
I could see that. I mean, that's the thing, like with this show, because there are no feeds, we'll never know. Like
I would love to have feeds on Survivor. I've
It'd
been
be so
saying it for
interesting.
20 years. We need some feeds or something.
Mhm.
But in the same breath, how do you guys feel about feeds on Big Brother? Like, do you like them? Are you a fan of them or no? Because I have mixed feelings.
I think for me, it depends on the season.
Yeah.
I only have watched a few seasons on the feeds, and it really depends on what people are. The feeds are interesting not only because you get like the full story of what's actually happening gameplay wise versus like whatever the edited version is, which I really appreciate. What I don't appreciate are like hours of like nothing happening where I'm like, okay, just like be something that will
Right.
So I really like it for the accountability, right? Like especially like I always think of Big Brother Canada 6. Like, it was a really amazing season, but the editors like totally told a very different story in terms of like who were running the game. And the people that watch the live feeds like were like saying like, no, like this person's actually doing all of this stuff. And it's just like they were totally giving the edit to the wrong person. So I like the accountability that it kind of keeps production straight with such a complex game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Feeds are the only way to know the truth of what's going on, as far as like as much truth as we can see. Because sometimes
What do you think, Tommy? What is your feelings on that?
I have mixed feelings. I think that the feeds allow for people to really dive in and immerse themselves in the world, and sometimes I think it goes too far. To be honest with you,
it does. It really does.
Like, give us an example.
Well, all right. Are we gonna go here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go here. It's okay.
All right. So
Safe space.
I think about just a safe space. It's totally live.
Nobody's watching.
So I have thoughts because, for my season, there was a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that until we got off the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain things that are just not okay to do in a house. But when you have something like the feeds, it allows for people to see everything and therefore judge everything as if my opinion is that, okay, I respect these games so much, like big CBS games, Big Brother, Survivor, I respect them so much. My opinion, when you walk in those doors, into that house, onto that island, the rules go out the window. There are no rules. You leave your morals at the door. You try and do whatever it takes to win. That's what you're there to do, to win. So I know me personally, I did things in the house that I would have never done in real life. And because it's a game and I wanted to win and it would get me further. Like speaking up for someone that's being bullied.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't go against a group of 8 people. You're going to get voted out. You're going to make yourself a target. So when you have all the information, people judge you as if you are in the real world, but you're not in the real world. You're playing a game. And I would never judge somebody for doing something either on the Big Brother house or in the game and compare it to real life. You can't compare it to real life. It's very different. So I think that people forget that, rightfully so. It's reality TV. It is real. These things are really happening. But you're not being yourself when you're in these situations. You're playing a game, and the game comes first.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
that's why I have mixed feelings about it, because I saw what, to be honest, like the bullying that some of the house guests went through online after the show because it happened on the show. But it's like, yes, some things are not okay and not excusable. But I do have mixed. I don't think it's black and white. I think that there's a gray area.
Absolutely. Like we've certainly seen like across the years, like in Big Brother especially, this kind of thing like ruins people's lives. Like it gets them fired from jobs, totally like outcasted from communities and everything like that. And I think that I think about Andy from Big Brother 15. He basically said the same thing that you just said, of like, it's a game. Like I could not like risk my game, like what I left my family, my job for, like and a chance to win $500,000. Like I have to look out for myself and my placement in the game first before anything else.
Of course, Andy said that because he and I are the same person. I love
exactly, but I think that like he has a freer pass, if you will, because he ended up winning the season. But I don't think that should be. Like I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you find out in these games that are started off as social experiment games as well. Yes. It's not just about how do you get to the end with a whole bunch of strangers. It's how do we take people with different perspectives in the world and experiences that have shaped how they think of things and put them into a really high stress environment game situation.
Absolutely.
And it becomes hard. And I think this is what's hard about these games is from an audience perspective, you sit back, because obviously I can't speak to what it's like to be on a CBS reality show. Haven't been on one yet. No.
Not yet.
But I do think, I know, Allison, I do think that there's a line where you have to sit back and say, okay, like the game me is a version of me. So where's the line that I want to put in terms of like what I would traditionally have of ethics? Like the things that are, hateful in nature, whether they're meant to be in nature, whether they're microaggressions or those kind of like bullying moments or whatever the case is. It's hard because, like, to your point, like you don't want to participate if that's not how you feel, and if you feel like, oh my gosh, but at the same time, you as a person can't also like let it slide. So you have this ethical line of where do I say game me needs to take a break and I step in and say something?
Right.
And I do agree. I think that we've seen this in other games. We saw Cass try to bring this up about the gender bias thing that Sarah did in her season, and she got shat on for it.
Yeah.
Both online and in the game.
Yeah.
And
Cass from Kagiyan, Tony's original season.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So there have been women, for example, I'm just bringing this up as a small example, that have brought up what Sarah has said either in a confessional or in a conversation with another castaway, or they said it after the fact, like in interviews and such, and just got absolutely shunned. And
Denise as well.
Denise, yeah. I mean, things have changed. Wow. Like we're in a time frame where people are being held accountable more often. So you get into a game and that has to be a part of what you're thinking now too. So it's all interesting. But again,
it's affecting the social experiment. It does. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've almost it's anyone. The reason I don't even know why I watch Big Brother anymore, because I've come this close to being on it so many freaking times, and I just don't think it.
So good.
Allison was in finals for Big Brother 20.
I think Sam got my spot.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you,
but it makes sense.
But one thing that they've always asked me is, what kind of player are you going to be? What are you going to do? And to be brutally honest with you, I don't know. I've always said I don't know who you're going to put me in that house with. I don't know how I'm going to react to these people. I don't know. I don't have a diagram and a chart and a pinpoint presentation for you.
Right.
When I get in there, it's what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do. I've always said from day one, you never know what you're going to do until you get in there, and you're not, the things that you do in there, you 9 times out of 10 probably aren't going to do in real life. It is a game. And on top of that, what pisses me off are these little trolls who microanalyze everything that you say and subtitle every
Like
effing
Denise.
thing. Yes. And then they sit there and go after these people's families. Like when you're in the Big
Yeah.
Brother house and you can't do anything, oh, well, I'm just going to stalk their family and I'm going to do that. That's where you just stop it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's where you've just got to go, y'all get a life or something. Okay.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here watching the feeds too, but calm down.
But that's why I have mixed feelings about the feeds, is because I think having the feeds allows people to go that far.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that would happen if you just watched the edited version. Granted, it's not the truth. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's like the Spark Notes version is what I always
Yeah.
say. Like, it's like there's more. You know what else I wish to? Oh my God! Now we're talking about Big Brother. I'm sorry. I know.
No, that's okay. I just asked people in the chat. I just asked people in the chat if they're fine with us like going off topic, like, and they said they're really enjoying the convo. So by all means, Tommy, like, go ahead.
Cool.
Yeah,
Here's the one thing that I do wish that happened. I wish that once a week there would be a diary room session where you check in with every house guest and just ask them, who are you aligned with? Who do you trust? Who do you not trust? Who's your target? Just so because it's there's such
Like a live one on the feeds.
It's just like it'll be posted on CBS All Access, like
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Week 5 interview, Kat's Week 5 interview, Christie's Week 5 interview. Like just so the diehard fans can keep track of where everyone's brain is and how they actually feel.
yeah.
Because
I think that makes a lot of sense.
See that from the feeds, and you
Big Brother OTT.
the edited show.
No, actually, Allison brings up a good point.
Big
That was
Brother
what,
OTT.
yeah, that was
They
what
do
was
that on
interesting with it.
BBOT.
They had live diary room sessions once a week. And they let you go in, that you saw everything. You saw them go in, take your mic off and look in the camera. Yeah, you're talking to, or rephrase that, not as a question, just answer. You saw everything.
Wow.
And people would talk about, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. So if you go back and you watch Big Brother OTT, I'm telling you, Tommy, it is amazing. I get a lot of shit for it. I don't care.
I believe you.
I covered Big Brother OTT all by myself. I did little shows. Once a week, I did a show for people who didn't know how to follow it. And I followed it all week. And I said, okay, this is what's going on. Bear with me. I'm doing the best I can here, people. But they really did have real sessions and stuff. It was insane. Like the premiere episode of Big Brother OTT was like 7 or 8 hours long because every person entered the house one at a time. And it wasn't like groups of 6 and then the other 6. It wasn't groups. It was one person at a time. And it was like, oh my God, is this ever going to freaking end? But it was interesting to watch, though. I'm telling you, man, go watch it.
No, I believe you, and I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I loved some of the Big Brother greats. I think about Dr. Will. I think about Evil Dick. I think about who else? Dan. Those players. I think Steve did this too in Big Brother 17. Beth. I think some of them wake up early to go to the backyard and sit on the hammock and just talk to the live feeders, so that they had a clear perspective of who they truly trust, who they truly want to target and stuff like that. And the live feeders really loved when people did that kind of
Steve
thing.
did that because he was a live feeder and saw other people do that, saw the positive reaction for it. But he also did it because he knew his mom was watching the live feeds and he wanted to be able to talk to her directly to be like, here, mom, here's where my head is.
Yeah.
And everything.
It's so
really
sweet.
cute.
It's so sweet.
Did you ever forget about the cameras and stuff?
Yeah. Did you ever forget they were there?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wouldn't talk to the feeds on purpose. I was friendly with Caitlin before I went into the house. So she had given me a tip. She's like, when you go into the house, talk to the feeds. People like it. And I was like, what? I was like, okay. And then when I went I love it. It feels right. I want to just live my life. I want to pretend that they're not there. I just for me, I wanted to pretend that they weren't there. And I didn't want to talk to the feeds because
it goes back to that mental fatigue, I bet, that you were talking about, when you have to be on for another camera.
Okay, well, can I say something about talking to the feeds? I'm sorry, Beth. Okay, who was older gentleman from your season, Tom.
Cliff.
Cliff. You saw what talking to
Oh,
the
bless
feet
his heart.
did to Cliff.
Come on, I
Bless
love
his
that.
heart. I love
That's
Cliff.
why you do it at the hammock, so you can see people coming to the backyard, coming to you. You don't do it in that little room
You
next to the
have, like,
bathroom.
Cliff notes, and everybody's on the other side. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lord, help us.
That's actually part of the reason why I wouldn't want to do it too.
Yeah.
Because that happened to him so early on. So I was like, that's what you get for talking to the feeds. Nope, not gonna do it.
Yep.
Tom, would you, if you had to choose pick between the two again, would you play Big Brother again, or would you play Survivor? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick,
Mhm.
I think
Fiji or Los Angeles?
I would have. It's so funny. I've pros and cons. Big Brother's 500. Survivor's a mil.
Mhm.
That's a big difference.
Mhm.
I don't know enough about Survivor. I know a lot about Big Brother.
Mm.
So like, I think I got to go with Big Brother. Like, Big Brother is was my dream.
Mhm.
God, it's the best thing I've ever done in my life. Like, it was, I loved every single day, especially the days where I was on the outs crying in the house. I loved everything about it, every
You
minute.
didn't love that.
So I think I would still say Big Brother, because even though it's a lot less money, I just think that it's my game, to be honest.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
beggars can't be choosers.
You're like, if you're out there, Jeff Probst,
I
hey.
would love to play Survivor. I'll do my research, but yeah, I don't know enough yet, to be honest.
I would love to see.
Want to.
Right.
You're-
I want to see a batch of Big Brother players, a whole bunch of them. I want to see like a Big Brother versus
crossover.
Survivor player
Yeah.
crossover on either Survivor or Big Brother. Look, we got time, people.
Done that.
Let's just
I
do
think
it.
we'll see like a trial run of that when we see the Survivor players play Sequester.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
gonna
excited.
watch that. I'm so excited. I'm gonna watch
So
that.
excited.
The cast is really, really good.
It's so good. Yeah, let's take a second.
Wow.
Let's take a second and hype up some Sequester, shall we?
Yeah. Tommy, how was your experience on Sequester? What did you think?
I loved it. It was so much fun. I think that Audrey's amazing for creating it. I that's where I met Beth, and I like fell in love with her. Like, it was literally just like, it was so much fun. I loved it. The
was a
big
lot of fun.
thing, the main reason why I loved it so much is because, like, that feeling, the adrenaline of being in the house. I felt it again playing Sequester, and I felt it since then, and it was like addicting to have it, to feel it again. Like, I get the chills even just looking at it.
Did you feel like, oh, this feeling, oh, I'm so happy to have it. Oh my God, it's on overdrive in this game versus Big Brother. Or did you feel like it was about the same level that you had in Big Brother?
No, it was on overdrive. It was on overdrive for sure. Yeah, it was really interesting. I learned a lot actually from playing too. I really
All
did.
right. The main question I have for you then, Tommy, who's better at yelling at you? The Big Brother, Tommy, please stop doing whatever that thing.
I got yelled at so
Or-
much.
A certain
Or the mom.
certain mod, Beth.
Man, when Big Brother would yell at me, it was like, I look back on it now and I am appalled at the way that I behaved. Like, I was like a angsty, rebellious teenager. In that like, stop singing. I'm like, well, you're telling me to stop singing original songs, and you're telling me to stop singing non-original songs. So you have your stories twisted. Get it straight, Big Brother. Like, who am I to talk to Big Brother like that? Like, now I look back and I'm like, the nerve that I had. But
This kind of implied afterwards.
when you would yell at me, like, I would really feel bad.
I can see it in you physically. I'd be like, Tommy, you're in 2 rooms at once. And you're like, I'm so sorry.
He had that exact face with the hands on his head.
I don't understand why Audrey won't let me mod.
I would have loved that.
Get
Allison.
the fuck out of the room right now. There's too many of you in there. Get out.
Yeah, we all have very different modding styles. Those of us that mod. I've become famous for the sing-songing, like, get out of my room kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that was great. I loved when you did that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I did
remember
one
that.
Broadway training camp. So there we go.
People pay me not to sing. I
Right.
just sit and smile.
I love
Allison,
it.
you're gonna be on Big Brother one day.
Oh my God, I wish.
You're
That's great.
so good. You're so perfect for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
If you
appreciate
want good feeds, put Allison
Mhm.
Kelly.
I believe that. Yeah.
That'd be so good.
My first experience with Allison was like seeing her play like one of the original seasons of Sequester. There's like a highlight clip somewhere on the internet of her like putting this like blonde like bimbo in her place. Do you know who I'm talking about,
Okay,
Allison?
she's not a bimbo. No, okay, listen, here's the thing. Jordan's so sweet.
She was
How
trying
do
to come for you.
She was coming for me. What you have to understand was this was back in the old days of Sequester where you played 7 straight nights, 2 hours a night. You are mentally fatigued and sleep deprived. It's insane. And it's casino night. We all have to dress up like we're in Las Vegas. I'm from Memphis.
You have a big
Naturally,
ass boa.
I had this hot pink boa on and Elvis glasses with fake black sideburns just hanging out in these big glasses. And this girl, as soon as the show goes, like, did you call me? Who do you think you are? Did you call me stupid? Call me stupid to you. Who do you think you are? And I'm like, I'm Allison. She was like, well, call me stupid to my face. And I say, you're stupid. I mean, it was just a thing. It was just, we were all out of it. And
It was so
George's
great.
a sweet girl, but that was Tyler's first yeah.
It was
Just
so
imagine
funny.
that's Allison in 1 week. Imagine
Mhm.
like 12 more weeks of that. And then you've
It just
got
keeps evolving too.
I'm a small doses kind of person. I can handle Ellison in small doses. That's why Tyler really only deals with me when he has to.
Yeah. Tommy, I saw that Big Brother 21. They're doing like a reunion on Zoom or something. Is that right? Did that happen already?
No, it's happening March 21st.
Okay, cool. Who do you keep up with, like from the show?
What was that?
Who
Is
do you
it May
keep up with? Oh, go ahead, Beth.
Who what?
May 21st or next March 21st?
Meh.
Yeah.
May 21st.
Wait. Oh, did I say March 21st?
March, and I was like, oh wow, that's happening.
Month are we in?
No,
I
no.
just wanted to make sure it was May.
Yeah,
We're all losing our sense of time.
Yeah.
we're doing it May 21st. All the proceeds are going to Give Kids the World, which is
Oh, that's great.
Yay, yeah.
Parts of Reality, and it's a foundation that allows kids who have critical illnesses to go on vacation with their families.
That's
Just
awesome.
great that like
Great.
it'll be so nice to hang out with everybody, first of all, but it's so nice that us just getting to hang out and answer some questions is doing some good for a foundation, for a charity.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited. It's my first time doing something with Hearts of Reality. No, second time. But it's just so cool. How freaking wild that just because I got picked to be on this show, now I get to like do things like talk to you guys and like go on like that Zoom thing. Like that's so cool. I love that. I'm so honored to be a part of the community.
How's Christy?
Yeah, how's Christy doing?
Christy's amazing. She's the best. I love her so much. We are the best of friends, and we weren't before the show. Like we were friendly.
I'm so fast.
So the thing is, her and my aunt dated for 7 years, a little over 7 years. And I always knew that I could get along great with Christy, but because lesbians break up and get back together all the time, I kept her in arm's length because I had to take my aunt's side, like obviously, and I still do.
Yeah.
But after being on Big Brother, like it's inevitable. There's a bond now that we can't get rid of, we can't turn away from. So she is truly one of my best friends now, and that's the way I like it. I love her.
It's been a lot of fun to see her. I sent Tommy a message earlier about how much I enjoy his TikToks, and it's fun to see when Christy joins in his TikTok videos and such, and just do like things.
We have fun together. Like, we're always doing something crazy, and she's just like, we're just very on the same page. You know, you have some people that like your close friends that there are people in your life where you're talking to them and you're still not on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and there are people that when you talk to them, when you tell them anything, when they tell you anything, it just clicks.
Yeah.
And you know that they are right there with you, and she is one of those people. Like, we are just very much on the same page all the time, and it feels really great to have somebody to go through this journey with somebody that I have a pre-existing relationship with. Granted, it was not fun in the house.
Oh my God.
So actually, in order to kind of tie this back into Survivor, let's actually
right,
talk about.
Survivor.
Yeah, I want to hear your perception on like pre-existing relationships, right? So if this season was the first time Survivor has ever really just put out in the edit, these people are good friends outside of this. These people have been in each other's weddings. These people play poker for charity together. They really talked about that. And I think that those of us who were like really intense fans of the show really appreciated it, because we're like, thank you for acknowledging this, because it is going to be a key component in maybe how they interact. If
I
you
agree.
like, I kind of want your opinion on that. Do you think that pre-existing relationships like help and hurt your game? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's part of the game. It's just it becomes a different game. That's what it really is. It's not the same game.
Right.
Even in terms of like, I experienced it with Sequester. Like, Audrey had said, don't reach out to people. I'm like, okay, I won't. And then I find out everyone reached out.
Everybody did. Yeah.
Girl, tell me, but Tommy, I'm there with you, because the first time I played Sequester, I didn't know anybody. The second time I played, I was when they did the first All-Stars. I didn't reach out to anybody, and everybody, and I'm like, am I the only person following the freaking rules over here? Like, I'm not even talking to anybody. It's like natural to pre-game now.
Yeah, it's so funny because I just touched base with Caitlin, Ovi, and then they're like my closest friends from that season, from that were playing Sequester. But there was just so much going on. Like, I knew from talking to Ovi that he had other things with other people just because of the way he was acting.
Yeah.
I knew that Caitlin had things with other people because of the way that she was acting. And I'm like, well, these are my people, and they already have things with other people. So then, like, the night before, like, I was talking to some friends, and they're like, text this one, text that one. Here's this one's number. So I'm like, hi, I'm just
But do you think, because one of so all right, we'll put it right out there. I'm going to be, whenever the Winners at War for Sequester minis happen, I would be playing in that, right?
Yes.
So people have already been thinking like, oh, all of the winners have to be pre-gaming. And I'm like, I'm not pre-gaming. Like, if people say hi to me, like, or I can't wait to play with you, I'm like, likewise. Like, I don't like because the reason, I don't know. For me, I feel like if you make these pre-existing plans or such, like, you have to have a really tight-knit bond in order for that to actually play out and like feel like you can trust people.
Yeah.
If you don't have a really tight-knit bond and you're making these plans with somebody, like, I feel like you get lost in like what you're supposed to be doing that you planned ahead of time, rather than like going with the flow of the game, which changes every round. And it all depends on how people are feeling. And maybe someone just ate a little bit too much beforehand and they're feeling sick, and therefore they're a little edgy or a little fun, or whatever the case might be. And I don't see the benefit in a game like that. And I wonder, like, do you feel like that happens with Big Brother or with the Survivor season, for example? Do you think that people
in Sarah's case, her and Tony are super close.
Yeah.
Maybe it was their pre-existing relationship that didn't let her see clearly that he was the one that had to go, that she had to be a part of getting rid of him a little earlier.
Sure. Absolutely.
It
that big poker alliance at the beginning of the season. That was like a huge thing.
And it was also interesting to see, like, we didn't get any of this on the show, but there were people who kept asking after the show, like in the Ponderosa videos and that kind of thing, if Denise and Sarah were really close because they're both from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, like randomly. And everyone figured the two of them would stick together and they were even asking that at Ponderosa. And I was like, well, they kind of were working together at the very end, but they really didn't work together at all. So it's also not only like what you're bringing to the game, but it's other people's perceptions if everybody knows who might be aligned with other people.
100%. Yeah, I find it all fascinating. I completely agree with you. I think that it just becomes a different game is the best way to like to say it. Like it's not the same game. You can't say that Survivor All-Stars is the same as a Survivor season with 1 or 2 returnees. Like it's just not the same game. It's a different game. It's all about the pre-existing relationships and how you separate those pre-existing relationships when you play the game.
Yeah.
From the game.
Well, and that's why I want to commend like you and Christy. Like I feel like you guys did have a really good job of having like a working relationship without ever being like undermining each other's gameplay. Like yes, like Christy got like a little emotional sometimes, which caused like a wedge for your gameplay sometimes. But ultimately, like you guys helped each other more than hurt each other, and I think that's like the sweet spot of working together.
Christy was like we both were just very different players.
Yeah,
but it's so funny because she was the bigger target. So it made sense for me to keep her.
Oh, totally.
So I love of course it's because I love her and I want to go to the end with her too. But it's also because it's not just because we're family. It also made sense game-wise. Like I won more competitions than her. I had never been on the block. I was like a fierce competitor in the house, I thought. Yeah. And they evicted her first. Why? Like it didn't make sense to me, but yet I knew that that's how everyone felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it made sense for us to work together but then in the same breath, I complimented her. Like we both just worked well together. Like where her strengths were, my weaknesses were, and vice versa. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so much fun playing with her, but it was also really challenging because it was just a different game than everybody else had to play because it was such a battle and such a struggle to keep everything a secret and to navigate my relationship with her, versus everybody else in the house.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Sorry. Tangent.
No, it's okay. I love hearing all these like production like tidbits and like behind the scenes because Big Brother is like even more so than Survivor in my opinion, like such a layered game. And when you add like a pre-existing relationship on top of that, like it's really wild. So to get to hear the experience of somebody that played it is just the coolest thing to me. So
100%.
So how do you guys feel about doing rapid fire? What is the funniest moment from this past season? And we all just kind of go around and then like all their kind of moments that we want to So does anybody have like their funniest?
I love Tyson's peanut butter. Him hiding the peanut butter from everybody. That's so classic Tyson.
I love Tony getting shit on by the bird. That was probably
that was so funny. Oh my God.
That was hysterical. I liked Tony's ladder because not even so much about Tony and the ladder. I liked everybody else on the Takal tribe being like, oh, he's serious. Like, this is not a joke.
Tony can do that, though.
Yeah. I also love Adam's faces. Like, Adam's.
Oh, my God.
When Adam's like a little like lost, it's the funniest thing that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
When he went to go get the fake idol from the podium, when he went to get that idol, and he's like, can I play this?
That was so good.
Bless his heart.
Good. You know what? Way to think outside the box. I love that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Try.
but I'm not going to make fun of it because, it looks like an idol, kind of, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And they've done that in Australian Survivor.
What everyone of us was thinking. You know what I mean? Like his facial expressions and everything was what I was thinking and feeling in those moments.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Adam, my other favorite funny moment was when he couldn't get the torch in the hole.
Oh my God.
Because he wasn't putting it in the right place. And so Ben had to
That would be me when I get eliminated. I guarantee it.
I love what Michelle said to him, we are on the bottom and you just you have to stick with me or we're screwed. I'm not saying it right. Something happened. He voted a different way than Michelle thought. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, you just handed them the game. Now we're on the bottom and we're fucked, basically.
Yeah.
That was Nick. Yeah.
And his reaction. Oh, that was Nick, not Adam.
Yeah.
Nick too, man. Nick. Oh, so funny.
It was so good.
That's what it was. It was Nick. Yes. When Nick did that, with that whole moment made me laugh so hard. He was just like, oh shit, but like also still a little confused and trying to flip it to look at a different side, but there was no other side to look at it.
That was good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
I did like the.
go ahead, Allison.
I'm sorry if y'all are freezing. So if I'm interrupting y'all, I
No, go ahead.
apologize.
Go ahead. You're good.
Freezing. No, just before we wrap up, one awkward moment for me that I really liked was right before Rob got voted out, and he wouldn't let anyone leave camp, and they're all sitting there like not talking or doing
So
anything.
cringy.
That was crazy.
So yeah, like I could feel it through the TV. Like I was like, oh my God, this is like your parents are fighting at the dinner table and you're still trying to eat and act like nothing's happening.
Yeah, that was so awkward. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh God, dude, you're shooting yourself in the foot. This is not the way to go.
Oh man.
Yep.
Yes.
It was such a good scene. No, it was so good. I can't wait for it. Before we wrap up, what did you think, Tommy, about Jeff kind of throwing out there 16-year-olds apply? Like, do you think that they might have some kind of Survivor special where they have like younger people play, like teenagers?
How would the ratings be if that happened?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Personally,
Nowadays, parents will do anything to push their kids. So.
Personally, I like an older cast. The same for like Big Brother 10 is my favorite season, and there was no woman under 30 years old that season.
I love 10. I love it so much. It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait. We're actually going to be starting to watch season 10 of Big Brother and then recap it. And I've never seen Big Brother 10, so I'm very, very excited.
It's so crazy because the way it's such a testament to how the times have changed and how the world has evolved.
Mm-hmm.
The things that are said during that game.
No way today. Yeah.
Like, the things that were said in our season that were viewed as horrible were not half as bad as the things that were said in season 10.
Oh, yeah. Try to imagine like evil Dick in Big Brother, like in the year 2019 instead of like Big Brother 8, you know, totally different story. But yeah, Tommy, you're welcome to join us for like one of those recaps, like at any time. We would love to hear like your perspective as we go through Big Brother 10.
I just watched Big Brother 10 probably like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, perfect. So it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, well, I think that wraps it up for us. Just a little housekeeping before we wrap up. So they just announced that Survivor Sequester thing that we mentioned. We are going to be doing a cast analysis like we did for the Big Brother one. And the owner of the YouTube channel Once Upon an Island, who does like awesome Survivor recap videos, he'll be joining us for that cast analysis. So that'll be Thursday at 7. And then we're going to start the Big Brother 10 recap on Wednesday, May 27th. So we're going to be recapping episodes 1 through 3. Great first eviction. I don't want to spoil anything for Beth, but it kicks off with a bang. So I cannot wait for that.
My ears doesn't work if I have.
You're mom.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. It was really fun to just like be back in the world. I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy to have you. We were thinking about who would be a great cast person as a co-host to have as we look at the season in review, just talk about our impressions. And we wanted someone positive, fun. And you were the first person we thought of. And we were so happy that you said yes. So thank you so much for coming and chatting with us today. I think we had some really cool conversations, not just about Survivor, but about mental fatigue in these games, about feeds, are they good, positive, about the ethical lines that people have to cross in these games, in addition to all the other fun stuff. So we accomplished a lot today.
We did.
Yes. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Tommy, where can people find you on social media?
At Tommy Bracco.
Excellent.
Yeah, easy enough.
Perfect.
Christy's FaceTiming me. Should I answer it and just pop over?
Yeah.
Chris, I'm doing a podcast and we were talking about you.
You're talking about me?
Yeah, do you want to say hi? You're on it right now.
That's really funny because I was just talking about you.
You are?
Oh,
Look, you're on a podcast.
Hey.
Can I call you in like 5 minutes? We're just wrapping up right now.
Do your thing.
Who are you with?
I'm at Angelina's house, but we were talking about you.
I was just in Angelina's kitchen. All right, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. All right, I love you. I'll call you in 5.
we love.
I'm glad she still sees home when she sees you, Tommy.
Yeah.
Aw.
I love her.
I love it.
That's so funny.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Do I just sign off? Are you guys staying on? Is that?
We're gonna end the broadcast now, and then we'll just say
Okay.
like a quick thing to you before we head on out. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on Thursday for the Survivor show. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye, guys.